I want to talk about just an early opening argument for Bama and their playoff chances. First off, I don't give a damn if you have to play Bama again. Okay, I really do not. After watching that film, it is more clear than ever that LSU was the better team. So I really don't care. That said, let's talk about, should Alabama get back in the playoff? And after thinking about it more, after talking to people, I am vehemently against the idea that Alabama could possibly jump a one-loss conference champion, even Oklahoma. And I don't care if Oklahoma needed a 2-point conversion to beat Ohio State. I don't care if they did whatever they did against Kansas. The bottom line is they are winning. At a certain point, the on-field results have to matter. And why I mainly say this, Alabama's not going to the SEC championship. If they were to get it, make no mistake, if you do not have to play in a conference championship game, that is a massive advantage. It is a massive advantage. We talked to Billy Napier maybe last week. Yeah, last week. And we talked about 2011. And he talked about it. He said, he was kind of laughing. He's like, we had 35 days to prepare. We had time to rest. It is a massive advantage. Why should you not only get the benefit of the doubt, but why should you get that advantage if you don't even win your half of the conference? Okay? So as long as there is any one-loss conference champion out there, there is a 0% chance that Alabama should get in. Because if they do, then the system is broken.
It is flawed.
Then why play conference championships? Why play any of these games? Wins should matter more than your losses. Alabama had one real test. They failed that test. As long as Oregon, Utah. Now, look, if it's 2 losses, like I said, results should matter. Then I'm okay with it. I think it would still be a huge break for Bama because they would still be getting that massive advantage, but I'm okay with it. But to subjectively give them that advantage and just jump them over a team that would be a conference champion is the height of absurdity, in my opinion. So I just had to get that off my chest. So Utah, Oregon, Oklahoma, all of these teams, if they are one-loss conference champions, should be above Alabama. Bottom line, Baylor, I don't care who it is.
Yeah, from LSU standpoint, I think that the Alabama second time around doesn't scare LSU as much as it may put fear in the fan base just because of the history of where they're at. But Alabama in 2019 does not deserve to get into the playoff. They don't deserve to get into the playoff because of their resume.
Yeah.
2 years ago, they were left out of the SEC championship game, one of the 4 finalists, because like Kirk Herbstreit said, and I agree with him 100%, Alabama doesn't have an SEC bias. They have a talent bias. And 2 years ago, they were one of the top 4 talented teams, most talented teams in the country. The committee saw that. But what scares me now more about the committee is the eyeball test and the human element because of a team like Minnesota ranked 17th undefeated and goes in and beats Penn State. And now where are they? I'm more anxious to find out what they do with Minnesota tonight than what I am about Alabama.
And then, as we said yesterday, that is the other point. Your eyeballs, be careful with this subjectivity, right? Because you didn't want to, so the same way that people are going to say, oh, well, Oklahoma played these close games and look what they did. And Alabama, well, they played bad teams, but they blew out the bad teams. Okay, well, everybody pointed at Minnesota, and they said, oh, look, they played these close games early on and blah, blah. I remember a Cam Newton-Auburn team that needed overtime to beat Mississippi State back in the day at Kentucky. And then what did they do? They went on to win a national championship. At a certain point, you just got to respect the dubs. And you were so damn wrong on Minnesota. How can we trust your eyeballs from here on out? I don't want to belabor the point. We all get what I'm saying. It is obvious. The bottom line, this is the bottom line. It's a massive advantage not to play in your conference championship. You don't get that advantage unless there's no other choice.
At this point, what would Alabama's quality win be? Let's say that Auburn loses to Georgia this weekend. Auburn's a 4-loss team.
Yeah.
Get out of my – they're done. They're out. But if you put them in, come get some more. Right? LSU will play them wherever they want to play. But if they get back in, I think that the committee, the structure needs to be blown up.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Is not that It's not based in fear. It's based in, is this system actually going, yeah, exactly. Doesn't need to be blown up. Because if you do, then why do we play conference championships? Why, if I make the lessons to be learned, if you were to put them over a one-loss conference champion, why would you schedule any hard teams? And why would you want your conference to play a conference championship? The playoff committee at the beginning of all this, when they held the Big 12 out, said that conference championships are supposed to matter. Well, there's a lot of football left to play. It's just called be for naught. But we will find out later this year.
So if they get in, they get in. If not, I just got to say it has been.
It's like Eddie O says, it's never about them. It's always about LSU.
It has been so fun to watch them melt, though.
It's great. I love it.
I mean, like, I know I hate to be petty, but to see those Gumps just continue to melt, cry, moan, complain, bitch about everything that's happened to their program. I mean, it's one of the funniest. It's such a great spot. It's so fun to troll them on Twitter, to mess with them on social media. I was on Birmingham radio yesterday when I hung up. I mean, my mentions went berserk because I got on there and just talked about how LSU was clearly the better team. It was a 2-touchdown favorite. I look at the first half of the 33-13 count, more indicative to how the final score really played out. I mean, just everything about that game, everything about that fan base melting down is really what I'm here for. I mean, like, I can't get enough of watching those people just melt.
It's great. It's great.
It's fantastic. You had a chance to watch the film.
Yes.
It looked better the second time, didn't it?
I agree. It just became painfully clear that LSU was the better team. They swallowed a lot of punches. LSU did. Solid drive early on by Alabama. They bow up on the goal line and Tua makes a mistake. They had some sequences like where you have the 4th and 1 that you convert, but you inexplicably get a delay of game. What happens right after that? They have the gadget play where they look to the sideline and Bama has the long 80-yard touchdown. Like there were so many, the punt return for a touchdown. There were so many massive momentum-shifting moments where that home crowd had the chance to just start getting crazy and for things to snowball, and LSU just kind of laughed and shrugged them off. I mean, they looked like Tyson Fury out there. You weren't connecting on many, but when you did, it didn't really matter. The jaw held strong. I thought that, okay, sorry, I was getting my notes. I got a bit lost here. Christian Fulton stood out to me. They didn't go after my guy at all. And like you said, great learning lesson for Derek Stingley. I mean, what a tough spot as an 18-year-old to be going against the best receiving corps in the nation. But you know who really held up great under that test was Christian Fulton.
He did.
Cody Worsham, maybe look up Cody's Twitter if you can find it, because he has a great tweet yesterday where he mentions Fulton's numbers. But just watching the film, they ignored him, and when they went after him, he made the play. Tyler Shelvin looks better and bigger and better and bigger every single week. I don't get it. He physically, he just looked bigger, not fat, just like bigger and stronger or something this game. He just continues to dominate every single week. Dave Aranda did a great job in this game, right? We're going to criticize when criticisms due. Now, granted, I don't understand the last call, single high safety in that position. I really don't. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you're worried about a slant being house. I don't know. The bottom line, though, especially the first half, Dave Aranda dominated, confused the hell out of the Bama front multiple times, very creative ways of bringing forward. He even confused Gary a couple times. And I like Gary, and I know everybody hates Gary Danielson, but Gary Danielson's analysis is spot on. And there were a couple times where Gary Danielson was like, oh, they're bringing pressure, and they weren't. They were bringing 4. They were just bringing him from interesting angles. Also had some calls that just lined up perfectly with rollouts I think Bam wanted to do. And when you think about the defense, really, they were the performance was much better than the score would indicate, in my opinion. I said consistently throughout the week, if you held them under 30, that would be a success. And you should have, right? You have the punt, which I don't. That's on the defense. You take off the punt return. And then that last touchdown should not have happened. Like I said, that is inexcusable. But you were right there, that close to holding them under 30. I came away very impressed with the LSU offensive tackles. Not in that they were great because they got beat multiple times, but when I tell you that Terrell Lewis and Anthony Jennings are some pass rushing beast, dude. Their jumps on these silent counts were as consistently perfect as I've ever seen. And a lot of people saying, oh, they're offsides. I disagree. I disagree. They had it timed up perfectly to where as that ball is moving, they're already almost a full second step into their run, and I don't think it's a penalty. So it was just really, really dominant stuff there. And so to be an offensive tackle and have the pass rushers of that skill set, getting that kind of jump and still hold your own, I feel like Austin Deculus and Sadiq Charles both did a very solid job. And Deculus, yes, he especially got beat a lot early, but one snap and clear, he didn't let it snowball. He toughed it out, and he managed to maintain and get the job done.
All right, I'm surfing Cody Worsham's Twitter account. I didn't see the Christian Fulton stat, but I did see Harrison Valentine, who had a piece yesterday with Joe Burrow, talking about Burrow discussing his reaction to the state of Louisiana's reaction to the win over Alabama.
I realized how much this meant to Louisiana. It was pretty special. I was very surprised to see it, and I just wanted to do anything I could to embrace those people that came out.
Is that when you tweeted, "I love you, Louisiana"?
Yeah, that was awesome. I was excited to see all those people. I didn't really realize.
Burrow yesterday, Harrison Valentine, who covers LSU over there at InsideTheTigers.com, had that on his Twitter account. Rivs told me we had the soundbite. Sorry about that. I know it was a little low, but it was Burrow talking about the state of Louisiana and the reaction to everybody coming home in the airport there and the people being at the football facility. I saw the same thing you did in watching the game again.
Oh, okay. And I love Cody's Twitter for this reason. As I'm scrolling it looking for Fulton, even though there was pressure Saturday, listen to this stat. The Tigers' offensive line gave Joe Burrow 3.02 seconds per attempt on Saturday. That was third most among Power 5 QBs. Think about that. Against that pass rush, that secondary, which that's also a credit to the receivers, because that means that they're beating guys to get out. But how about that, man? That offensive line showed up in a big way.